I'm delighted to welcome this morning Susie Cornell, MBE of the Cornell Centre in Essex in the UK. Welcome, Susie.
Hello, Elaine. Hello, nice to see you.
So
And
whereabouts?
Hello, everyone listening.
Yes, absolutely. Whereabouts in the UK are you, Susie?
We're in Essex, near Chelmsford, in Essex, the city of Chelmsford.
It's a city, is it?
It's a city now.
Oh.
We've got city status. But I originally come from Birmingham, so there's quite a long story to say how I got from Birmingham to be in Essex.
Okay, well, we'll hear all about that shortly. Starting sort of with the end and going backwards then, you run the Cornell Centre. You founded and created and run the Cornell Centre. So what is that?
Well, the Cornell Centre is a clinic where people can come to get help and advice for many health problems. I myself have a health problem and medically it can't be really cured. So I've lived with my own health problem for many, many years. And I help people alongside nutrition, physical advice for exercise and well-being. And I just support people with many health conditions. I use a program called a bioresonance program, which helps me to do that.
So bioresonance, there's various gizmos and gadgets coming out these days with the advancement of technology.
Oh, this is way ahead.
Okay.
It's very scientifically based. So people from a distance can either have a consultation with me. They can leave. I've got clients in Australia, America, and it's very, very accurate. I use my program on animals too, and babies and children. It's very safe. It's the way the body connects with yourself, and you're talking to the inner person, and your body knows exactly what's going wrong. And I can balance it with the use of energy medicine, which is bioresonance. Very scientific. There's only 250 of us in the world. It's a very unique program, and I've been a practitioner of this for 15 years. And it found me. I didn't find it. It's the kind of program that found me, and I believe in that. When it's right, it can happen.
Absolutely, yes, yes. Was it something like when the student is ready, the teacher appears? Yeah. Is that kind of?
Yeah. And I had a lady walk into my clinic, and she was looking for me, and she said, "Oh, I'm sorry to disturb you, but the hospital have sent me to see you because I have this program to show you." And I said, "Well, what is it?" And she explained it, and I went, "Whoa, no, that's far too scientific. I'm not good enough. I'm really not good enough. No, I can't take that." So she left. And then after that, you get these sort of messages come through on Instagram or email and newspaper. And I thought, that's the same program that lady was trying to show me. So I rang the company up and I said, "Could you come back and show me this again?" Well, when she came back again, I was totally hooked, and it found me, wouldn't let me go. And I just think the value of bioresonance technology, especially Elibra, which I work with, is so unique and so powerful. So I can help people in all conditions.
For the benefit of the listeners, can you explain a bit about bioresonance?
It's scientific. Difficult to explain it. A lot of health conditions come from emotional disturbances, and the doctor will give you a pill to overcome the immediate problem. But what bioresonance can do, it can link back to the root cause. It could be in a lot of conditions, emotional imbalance like a trauma. For me, for instance, I've got multiple sclerosis, and I've been diagnosed with it for 47 years. But I know that 2 years before my diagnosis of MS, I had an emotional trauma. But it takes 2 years for the body to realise it needs help, and it will give you signs and signals with a bit of pain, a little bit of my hair was starting to fall out, for instance. And I went to my doctor and he said, "Oh, there's nothing to worry about. You're only 22. Don't worry, take an iron tablet." So all of these things were happening to me before I got my diagnosis of MS. And I now know that people's health condition, when they've got a back pain or a stomach ache, can usually be the preceding that, maybe 2 years before, they've had an emotional imbalance, trauma, change of jobs, change of house, relationship. And all of that is, I can pick that up on my bioresonance screen.
It's incredible, isn't it? And it's interesting you say 2 years, because I remember a friend of mine telling me about her mother who was in hospital because of breast cancer. She'd had surgery. And when my friend went to visit her mother, she said, there's 5 of us in this ward. She said, we've all been bereaved in the last 2 years. And my friend then woke up and smelt the roses and said, hold on a minute, is that a coincidence? I don't think so. And then she started looking into the trauma side of things, and she too is a healer as well.
Yeah. And I think it's very important. I mean, people can come to me with a back problem, and I won't take it. When I put them on my bioresonance program, it will come up with endocrine system, or the adrenal system, or their thyroid. And then I say, well, I've got to balance that first before we get to your back problem, because the back pain is a result of something going wrong in the body. It's the end product. It will only give you pain when you've not balanced the whole inside mechanism.
Yeah.
So that's what bioresonance does. It's not me. It's I link into their body system to find out what their body's talking about.
Fabulous. There's some background noise going on,
yeah,
Susie.
I will. One second. Sue, I can't work with that. You have to close the doors. I can't it's disturbing everything.
There we go. Yeah, marvellous. Thank you.
Edit that, can't you?
Yes, yeah. Well, I won't. It shows we're live. Yeah, my PA does all the technology things, okay, so we run with it. Okay, so it's a fascinating concept, and one that we understand, and I mentioned I've got a Facebook group with a number of practices in, and there are lots of gadgets and gizmos out this day and age. There's patches now that come with patterns on, pain relief, you name it. I've tried it recently.
We'll get into the root cause, and we hold pain in our tissues of the body. So when we've had a trauma, we can clear it on the outside body, deals with it, and we cope, and we're really strong. But the inside system is holding, the tissues of the body hold on to trauma, and we have a way through the bioresonance to release the body's trauma without them having any symptoms of us working with them. So we work at a very deep cellular level. And I can say to people, you might cry, you might laugh, but it's all that part of the healing process. And that's where bioresonance is so unique.
I mentor people through cancer in particular, and again and again and again, it's the trauma that stops the healing all the time. You know, you can put no matter how much of good nutrition and the oxygen and do all the rest of it, amazing things, but if you haven't dealt with underlying trauma, which, as you say, a lot of people don't even know they've got.
I was going to say, how do they know? They don't know that, and they don't know what to do about it. They can go and see a psychiatrist, but then you've got to go through the whole trauma of seeing a psychiatrist or a psychotherapist, which are great, but we can release traumas from the very deep tissue underneath, and I can send them away and say, they have a pendant. I put their program into a holistic pendant, and that pendant will stay strong. The treatment they get with me stays strong for 3 months, and I then say to them, I'm releasing some trauma from the tissues of the body, and within the next 24 hours, 48 hours, you might want to cry, you might want to laugh, you might feel a bit strange, but it won't be a problem, it won't hurt you. And then I get them to do some looking into the mirror, affirmations of feeling good about themselves, and it releases the trauma. And writing things down is so important. But I know from my own point of view, when I've had an upset, if I write, we used to call them a diary. I think nowadays they call them journals. But if you write your trauma down and you say what you feel, then it helps clear everything. And that's the homework for my clients to do. I can do my work through the bioresonance, but clearing the trauma is up to them to write their problems down. If they've got something angry to say, you must write a letter to the person that's made you angry or upset you. You're not going to send it to that person. You might want to burn it, but writing things down is just so well, it's so healing.
Absolutely, I say similar as well. It's yeah, we're all on the same page here, most definitely. So Susie, how did you get then from Birmingham to Chelmsford?
Well, I'm from Birmingham and I'm a Birmingham girl. All my family is still in Birmingham. I've got one sister that lives in Wales, and my other two sisters are in Birmingham. And there are 4 girls. And I was a secretary in a newspaper group, the Birmingham Post, and I worked for the fashion editor for the Birmingham Post. I was 20 years old, and then she said to me, "Would you like to do some inside modelling for the newspaper?" And I went, "I've never done anything like that." So I did, and I loved it. And I was in the newspaper quite a lot doing their fashion. And then I was, they encouraged me to do a modelling course. And I'm not very tall, I'm only 5'4". But I thought, well, I'll have a go. So I went into the Birmingham Model Agency and I got work. And so I was really thrilled with that. And then I was offered a job in Mallorca. And in the 1970s, Mallorca was like a million miles away. It was a place that no one went to. And I was offered a job selling beach party tickets in Mallorca, which I did. I went out there with my 2 girlfriends. I was then offered a job on the radio, on Radio Mallorca, from Ricky Lash, who's an American guy who had a bar, a cocktail bar, and a radio station in the bar. And he said to me, Sue, I was called Sue Mills, would you like to come and work for me on the radio? And I went, I've never been on the radio. And he said, I would teach you everything. So I started working for him, and I was Birmingham Sue on Radio Mallorca for 2 years. My life was just celebrity filled. That people with Georgie Best, Freddie Laker, Gilbert O'Sullivan would come in the bar, and I would be the only DJ radio presenter in the whole of Spain at that time. I was called Birmingham Sue, and on my website you'll get a lot of clips from the radio station that I was on in my radio voice, and I would do adverts. Ricky would interview people. They'd come in live. In my book, I've got a book out called Totally Driven, and it's the story of my life as Birmingham Sue. I was a celebrity in my own right in Mallorca. Every bar I went into, it would be, oh, Birmingham Sue's here, da, 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 da. And people on holiday would come in the bar to see us. I met loads of people, and I was there for 2 years, and I thought, well, this is not real. This life's not real. I must get to a real life and start earning some real money. I was now 22 years old, and I thought, well, I've got to go back to the UK. And I went back to the UK and then found some tingling in my fingers. I was living with my girlfriend in London, and I found some tingling in my fingers, and I kept saying to her, I don't know why, I've got some tingling and numbness in my fingers. She said, well, pop over to the doctor. So I went over to the doctor in Leytonstone. I was living in Leytonstone, and the doctor said, oh, I don't know, take an iron tablet, you're a bit run down maybe. Went away for 2 months, went back again, and I said, look, I'm tripping over things now. I don't know why, and I've still got that tingling in my fingers. Oh, she said, I'll send you to Bart's Hospital in London to get some tests. Do you want me to carry on to tell you my story?
Please do, yes, absolutely.
Some tests. So that was it, and I was waiting for the test to come. In the meantime, in London, I was at a bar in London, and there was a guy there, and they came up and spoke to us, and one of them said, oh, where do you come from? I said to him, where do you come from? And he said, I live in Essex. And I said, well, where's Essex? I'm a Birmingham girl, I live in London, I haven't got a clue where Essex is. I've got no idea. And he said, oh, maybe you'll come and see us one day in Essex. I went, yeah, okay, whatever. I said, I do know a guy I met when I was on the radio in Mallorca called Tony Appleton, and he's got carpet shops in Chelmsford. And he said, I know Tony, I know him. I went, well, I never, that is amazing. So that was my first encounter with anyone in Essex. I'd never heard of Essex, I didn't know where it was. And here I am, I'm an Essex girl. I represent the Queen now of Essex in Essex. So my life totally changed after that. I then said to the guy called Ian, who is now my husband, I then said to him, well, I've got to go into hospital. We were going out together at this time. And I said, I've got to go into hospital. There's fingers on my toes. And he said, oh, that's fine, you know, whatever. And to me, at the age of 22, nothing could go wrong. I was living the lifestyle. I was doing everything possible. So to me, I could never be ill because I just wouldn't be ill. So I went into Bart's Hospital, and I was there for 2 weeks at the time. They couldn't find out what was wrong. And by this time, the tingling and numbness had gone. My walking was perfect. I had no problems at all. So I was the one doing all the trolleys and looking after everyone else. And then my Ian, my then boyfriend, and I'd only known him a couple of months, came into the hospital one day. He sat on the end of my bed and said, would you marry me?
Oh.
I was like, yes, yeah. Yeah, when, you know, yes. And I went, oh my God, the nurses came around, pulled all the curtains around. They were just, oh, that's lovely. And I was just, oh my God, I'm just so shocked, you know. Oh yes, I would marry you, I will marry you. And he left. And then the following day, my mother turned up from Birmingham with my grandmother. And I went, they never come out of Birmingham. So it was a big shock. So I said, wow, it's lovely to see you. And she said, oh, you know, I've come down to see how you are. And I said, oh, I'm just going to go home soon because there's nothing wrong with me. And then she said, is the guy, you know, Ian, is he around still? I said, oh, he's coming in to see me later. Why don't you hang on and see him? She said, I'd like to do that. So she hung on to see him. She said hello to him, took him to one side, had a chat, and she went. And then the following day after that, the doctor said, you can go home. There's nothing wrong with you. You've got polyneuritis. You can go back to work. You've got irritation of the nervous system. It will calm down. So my life carried on. I went back to work. I was working for a big company. I had a company car, had an expense account. I was on a sales force of 200 men. I was the first woman, one of the first 4 women in the UK to take the same salary as a man. I had a company car, expense account, had everything, had the guy of my dreams on my arm. So to me, my life couldn't be any better. And then we were going out and we were talking about the wedding, but he wasn't as keen. I just picked up that things weren't as well as they should be. And I challenged him and I said, look, we're supposed to be getting married. There's something not right. Is there someone else? Why are you putting things back? And he went, I'm not. I've got something to tell you. You've got an illness. And I said, what do you mean I've got an illness? The hospital said I was fine. No, you've got multiple sclerosis. And I went, what? What is that? You're going back 47 years. MS was just not around. It just didn't exist. No one knew anything about it, and I'd never heard of it. I said, what does that mean? He said, you could be in a wheelchair in 3 months' time. And I was shocked. I just, I didn't know. I rang up the hospital and said, can we come and see you? Because I've just been told I've got MS. And the doctor said, yes, come and talk to us. And they said, we have no treatment. There's no cure. And yes, you could be in a wheelchair in 3 months' time. But I said, but I'm walking. There's nothing wrong with me. And I then said to my Ian, I'm not getting married. I'm not going to be a burden. I don't want to get married to you. I love you, but I'm not going to put this burden on you. And he wouldn't let me go. He said, no, I'm here for life. He said, I love you. And we're getting married and we're going ahead. We're in this together. And then I had to move to Essex. And that's what took me to Essex, because I got married to an Essex boy. And I've never looked back.
Well, he's obviously a remarkable man, as you are a remarkable woman. So it sounds as though you're well matched. However, how come the doctors and the nurse, the hospital didn't tell you?
They didn't tell me because I was living in London. I was with a girlfriend in a flat on our own. I was single, and they didn't know what to say, and they did not tell me. In those days, like the big C, the cancer, you know, they isolate you and just push you to one side because they can't help you. And that's what they did for me, for my MS. They just said, if you need us, come back, and if we're here. But they said the only thing we can give you is steroids. And I went, but why would I want that when I'm walking okay? I don't have any symptoms. And I never had any symptoms for about 12 months after that. I had nothing. I went back to work. I was working full time. I was traveling around the country with my car. I was working a full-time job. I had no symptoms whatsoever for at least 12 months, 2 years. So the 3 months in a wheelchair didn't happen. And so I had to go back to my consultant and say, oh, you're fine, carry on. And that's what happens with MS, unfortunately. You can go symptom-free for many years, and then it will come back at you. So I've had it for 47 years. And that's why people come to me, because I've been through it, I've done it, I've had the bad side of it, I've had the diagnosis, and I've got damage, because if I'd known now, if I'd known then what I know now, I could have helped myself. But reflexology, things like that was not around. You know, people didn't know 47 years ago how their body worked. We just relied totally on the doctors. And that's what I did. I thought the doctors were my cavalry. They would come and rescue me. I was waiting for that magic touch that they would give me and I'd be cured. And 10 years later, I wasn't cured. And my sister had a baby who was born with cerebral palsy, Ben, in Birmingham. And by chance, she was accepted into the Peto Institute in Hungary, which is conductive education. When her little boy was 3 years old, she said, I'm going over there. Would you like to come? Because I think they can help people with MS. At that time, the language barrier was like, it doesn't work. So she went out there, found out that they were helping people with MS. And I was the first person from the UK to ever go to the Peto Institute in Hungary, where they do conductive education, and they still do it now. They are brilliant. The conductors are brilliant. So I went out there with my sister for 3 months to Hungary, and I was at the Peto Institute, and they taught me, they said to me, your MS is only 10%. It's the ability to do nothing that's making you worse. You'll get more symptoms if you don't do anything about it. So they taught me how to manage my walking. I'd been diagnosed then for 10 years, and I had a slight walking problem, but just a limp. So they showed me how to do the exercises, how to help myself, and how to do movements. And the conductive education was my lifesaver. They were the only people that ever offered me any help. There was no help anywhere else. I came back to the UK. Oh no, while I was in Hungary, my sister said, oh, GMTV are coming over to do some filming with the children. Television. And I went, oh, that's interesting. So my sister said to the producer of GMTV, my sister's in the adult part of the Peto Institute, and GMTV said, we didn't know they had an adult part. Take us over there. And I was in the class of Parkinson's disease and people with MS. So I was introduced to the GMTV production team, and they said, look, we had no idea they did any help for adults at the Peto Institute. I said, well, I'm here, I'm living proof, and they saved my life. So they stayed and they did some filming with me at the Peto Institute. When I got back to the UK, they rang me and said, will you come on GMTV and tell the country about the work that the Peto Institute do, which I did. And after that, people were ringing me saying, can you do the exercises? And I was drastically writing down in my longhand all the exercises, but I was inundated. I had sacksfuls of people wanting help, and I realised then that there was no help for anyone. So I put all my exercises on video, and my husband and I made the video, produced the video, and it was the only, and it still is, all of the the physio departments in the country bought my video because it was a way forward of exercise that can be helped with people with MS, in particular multiple sclerosis. But there is a condition called Parkinson's disease, and a lot of exercises help those people too. But I concentrated on the MS side because of my own condition, and I was inundated by people wanting my video, and it's still selling now. It's still the only exercise video for people with MS, and it's throughout the whole world.
Wow, good for you. Where can people get hold of it, Susie?
Through my website, I mean through me. I don't have it on Amazon or anywhere else. We've got it here, but it's on disc now, so people can still. It's a little bit older, but the exercises are brilliant, and they're good conductive education exercises.
And what is your website address for listeners?
SusieCornell.com, SUSIE Cornell, all one word, .com. I'm on Instagram. Use the word Susie Health Consultant as well.
Fabulous. So you mentioned about a trauma, the 2-year period. So did you identify what your trauma was?
I know what my trauma was, but I didn't know. It was only I didn't put the two and two together until I'd got people with MS coming to me for my help and advice. My husband and I opened a gym called Under Pressure. Before that, I worked with a doctor in Harley Street. He had a unique treatment with weightlifting equipment in Harley Street, and he was in the national newspaper. And I contacted him and said, "Can I come up with a patient of yours to try out this new form of exercise?" So I went up to his clinic, and I was a patient of his for nearly 2 years. I learned all of his techniques, Dr. Brian Lambert, and I used to go there every week, but it was expensive because it's Harley Street. So people with MS used to come from all over the country to Brian Lambert. I took over almost his unique program. He left to go back to Australia, and my husband built the equipment identical to the Harley Street clinic. After that, my husband spent a lot of money putting this machine together, and he put it at the end room of his offices in Chelmsford. And I had a girlfriend of mine help me. She said, "Look, we'll get people in and do the exercises that you did in Harley Street, but for a fraction of the price of the Harley Street costing." So all the people in Harley Street that used to go to the clinic came to me at my end of the offices of my husband's office block. And I had a little room, it was about 12 foot by about 6 foot, with this big machine in. And I did identical treatment programs as the doctor in Harley Street. They used to come from all over the country to come to see me. I had the newspapers come, the radio stations come, the television people come, the Discovery Health came. They did all the programs on what work I did. And my husband said, "Look, I've got a factory unit that's empty at the moment. We can rent the factory unit, and we'll put your exercise program into this unused factory unit." So put my machine over there, and I've got some equipment that was usable for people with disabilities. And I started doing work over there. Sky Television came. They did all of the programs with me. And then we realised there was a lot of people that couldn't exercise that wanted to come and see me. And so my husband said, "Well, if we add a bit more machinery in, we could help other people." So that's what we did. We opened a gym called Under Pressure, and it was the first gym in the country that got able-bodied and disabled people working together. So I had my clinic inside the gym where people would come, normal people with just with general fitness, and they'd see my other people walking around the gym in a wheelchair or on walking sticks, and we just blended in together. I was then recognised by a national magazine, and I was given the Health Achiever of the Year by, I can't remember the magazines now. It was a big magazine, and I got the Year of the Year award. And then we were given, I've got it on my wall here, the Flame Award from the fitness industry for the best health club in the country.
Wow.
and then I got the Lifetime Achievement Award for from the Fitness Association for got Club of the Year Category 1 Flame Award in recognition of outstanding service to the leisure industry, Susie Cornell, Under Pressure. That was a Lifetime Achievement Award. So we had the big Oscars evening in Stratford-on-Avon, where all the clubs in the country would come, and we had a presentation. I didn't know I was getting the Lifetime Achievement Award, and we certainly didn't know we were getting the Club of the Year Award. So it was a huge area for me to help others. So what we did, we carried on, and then people were saying, well, where is Chelmsford then? At that time, we didn't have any health clubs in Chelmsford, just one, and us. And all of a sudden, the big clubs started realising that Chelmsford was an area that they didn't know about, like I did. I suppose they realised that Essex was there. So all of a sudden, all these big clubs started opening in Chelmsford. And my husband and I said, we don't really want to be a part of the big club industry. I want to do my work, carry on doing my work. So we isolated ourselves. We sold the club off. And I had my own clinic now, which was in Under Pressure. And I've still got my clients coming to me from different parts of the country that were my Under Pressure clients, clients with MS. And they still come now to use the bioresonance program. So I set up my own clinic here. I've got it at my end of my offices at home, and I use it now here. And that's the story of my life, really.
Wonderful, wonderful.
And then then out of the blue, I had a letter from the Prime Minister, which was very official, and it read, "Dear Susie Cornell, the Queen has asked me to offer you a position as Deputy Lieutenant of Essex." I didn't apply for it. I didn't know it existed. I rang up the Lord Lieutenant of Essex, and I said to him, "Lord Braybrook, I've had a letter from the Prime Minister asking me to be Deputy Lieutenant of Essex. Why? And where has it come from? Do you know?" And he just smiled and he said, "My dear," he said, "just take it. You know, it's the biggest honour you could ever have." And that was 2006. And I've been Deputy Lieutenant of Essex since then. And I work under the Lord Lieutenant of Essex is Jennifer Tolhurst. Lord Braybrook was before her. So I work in very privileged experiences and services, and it helps me to help others more because I can open doors with the work I do and the title I have. And then following on that, the following year, I was another letter from the Prime Minister saying, "We'd like to give you an MBE for your work." And I had the privilege of meeting Prince Charles at the ceremony at Buckingham Palace, where I took my mother and my mother-in-law and my husband alongside me to go into the big arena of Buckingham Palace, which was like, oh my word, this is just stupendous. And I was just so honoured to be given my MBE. And we had a lunch at the House of Parliament. I invited my friends there, and I enjoyed every moment. And it's just helped me continue the work I do. And if it wasn't for my people that come to me now, I wouldn't be as well as I am. They help me because I help them. It works it around.
So how are you now, Susie?
My walking's rubbish, but if I'd known then what I know now through the bioresonance program and the nutrition side, I'm a qualified nutritionist. I've got my certificates behind me on the wall. I'm a reflexologist, I'm a kinesiologist, I'm an acupuncturist, I'm a aromatherapist. I'm qualified in all areas of nutrition and health. And reflexology was the one I loved. And I use it now through bioresonance. I can use all those techniques. I've got Dr. Hilda Clark's programs on my computer. I've got reflexology, I've got kinesiology, and I use it now to the best of its intention through the use of energy medicine. I think energy medicine is the way forward. It's the medicine of the future. And I know a lot of therapists are looking at it, and where they come into me because they want to know more, and I direct them down the route of WDS, which is the company I work with behind my program. Just as it was just a little incident that happened. My client said to me, "Susie, I've got a horse. Can you help my horse?" And I went, "I'm sure I can help you. What's wrong with your horse?" She says, "Well, she has a problem going into the stables. When I try and get her into the stable, she'll back up and she'll rear up and she won't go in. She's frightened of going into the stable." So I thought, well, I've never done a horse on the bioresonance, so I'll put the horse on. She had a sample of her hair. We don't analyse hair. We just use identification. So I put the horse on, and it came up with the words in were fear of male figure. So I rang her up, because I'm doing a distance, of course, with animals. I rang my client up and I said, "Your horse is frightened of a man. Is there a man in your stable that is upsetting the horse?" She said, "No, I don't have any men are near the horses at all. They're all girls." I said, "Well, that's really odd." And after talking to her, she said, "The only thing I can think of, the stable backs onto a field. When the farmer goes past the stable, he bangs on the back of the stable door." And I went, move the horse to another part of the stable, of the paddock, and it worked. Now, how would I have known, and how would she have known? But the animal's intelligence, and through the bioresonance, we picked up on the feelings of the horse. That's how powerful it can be, and that's nothing to do with me. I'm just the operator of it, and that's why my expertise is so great with the use of bioresonance. And my symptoms, I think, if I'd have known then what I know now, and I can help people if they've been diagnosed with MS or any neurological condition, there is some kind of help that can be achieved through the use of bioresonance. You can find a practitioner in your area, because we are in the UK, but I'm quite unique in the way I work. So I'm a nutritionist. I work with the power of kinesiology, but I don't have to do it any longer because bioresonance does it for me. Everything I've got is on there.
Wonderful. And what's the name of the machine? You mentioned it briefly earlier on.
Elibra bioresonance, the company World Development Services. I know the guys there, I know the top scientists. I work with top scientists. Victor, he's the man of the moment. He's the one that's the brain behind the whole program. And John, he's scientist, top scientist. I work with them daily on the programs. It's called WDS. It's Elibra bioresonance. If you Google Elibra bioresonance, you'll come up with it, and you'll see it, and you'll see there are different practitioners throughout the world. So we do meet up when we can meet up, and I meet up with people from Madrid, or people from Germany, or people from Scandinavia or Brazil, and we all meet up every so often, usually every 12 months, but at the moment we can't, so we do it on Zoom. But these people have got the same program as me, but they work with it in different. I meet surgeons. I mean veterinary surgeons. We've got a veterinary surgeon, a veterinary program on there for animals. I meet psychologists. I meet neurologists. I meet people of great fame use bioresonance programs as part of their tools in their chest. You know, that is one of the tools they use. So I think anyone in any area as a practitioner could look at bioresonance and use it as one of their tools.
As you say, it's the way forward, isn't it? That you're using the technology in ways that suit you. So clearly you've created a way of dealing through your own experience.
Yeah.
And your early life was obviously a grounding for your celebrity status, which is come with you your whole life, isn't it?
Well, it's followed me. I don't know why. It's just happened. And bioresonance, we are working, the guys behind my work, the scientists behind it, are working all the time to progress bioresonance for the future of medicine. We work holistically, so we work with people that have got cancer and they're on the cancer drugs, but I work alongside them, so I won't interrupt their treatment. And we always work with them on the understanding that they tell their oncologist or whoever they're working with that I'm working with them behind what they do. So it doesn't interfere with normal medicine. It's holistically. So I look at the whole person. And unfortunately, doctors don't have the time nowadays. They're not like the old-fashioned doctors that would sit and talk to you. And I think a lot of people need that little bit of attention, especially through the pandemic. I've also launched the Pride of Essex Awards. When 27 years ago, I was invited to a school in London, and they asked me to present some prizes to children who'd achieved over adversity. I was so impressed with the school. I thought these children had gone through lots of problems, and I was there giving them support and prize giving. I went back to Essex, and I said to my husband, I'd like to do something in Essex. There's nothing like this. So I approached the newspaper at the time, the Essex Chronicle, went to their editor, and I said, look, I've been in London. I would like these awards to be in Essex. And he said, well, how do we do that? And I said, I have no idea, but I'll work with you. So we launched the Achievement Over Adversity Awards 27 years ago, and they still run now. I'm still part of it, and I'm still the main one. And we help people with that've gone through life-changing experiences, and we award charities, we award individuals, we award families that have had traumas, and they are, to me, they're my heart, because if I'm helping these people, and on the evening of the ceremony that we have once a year at the university, we have a chairman called Dave Denison at the moment, and he's helped me for the last 10 years. Before then it was the Essex Chronicle. They have the backing, and the awards will go on throughout. After I've gone, those awards are just so beautiful, and we see people on the night that have gone through so much trauma in their lives and their family, and we give them a check or a presentation to tell them how special they've been, and how their achievements have been awarded. And to me, we do it once a year. Last year we did it on virtual, so there's a lot of work gone into that. Hopefully this year, they've been launched this month, but hopefully this year they'll be in November. We're back at the university, and we'll see all the people in Essex that have achieved. We get the Lord Attendant to come. We get the people in the council offices, so they can see what people of Essex are all about. They're special people, and I did at one time take them around the country. So the Ford Motor Company sponsored the awards for 1 year only, and we managed to take the awards to Aberdeen, to Cardiff, to Southampton. We did about 10 counties. So they did go around the country with the help of the newspaper group. But the newspaper group sort of changed, and then Ford Motor Company changed their funding. So we could only do it for 12 months, but they were the Achievement Over Adversity Awards for 12 months. So they're now their Pride of Essex Awards, and I'm so proud to be part of it. And I think I'm an Essex girl now, although my family is still in Birmingham.
Excellent. So you really have left you really will leave a legacy. If
I hope
many years to come, of course, but you will be remembered.
I think the Pride of Essex Awards are part of my life. For 27 years, they've been part of my life, and they give me so much good feeling, because when you've got your own problem, it's nice to help others, and they help me. So sometimes when I get these children that have got sort of life-threatening conditions, and I think my life's nothing. I don't have any problems compared to what yours must be like. So it just helps me to help me carry on with my life. Without them, I probably find it very difficult.
Excellent. You mentioned you're a trained nutritionist and you look at the whole body when you're helping people. What guidance would you give? What top tips would you give to anybody never mind any conditions or labels or anything like that, but just, you know, for keeping well.
Take sugar out of your diet. Take sugar out. I can't tell you the damage sugar can do. And keep positive. Have a positive. I've trained myself to, over the years, to look at the positive side of every problem you get. You learn from it. That's why you're given it. So any condition I've ever had, or my health has been good except for MS, but anyone that comes to me, if I try and make them look in a positive way, it helps. And definitely from a nutrition point of view, sugar and wheat, take them out of your diet, because they can do so much damage to the gut. And the gut and the body has two brains. One is in the head and one is in the digestive system. So whatever happens in your head will have an effect on your digestion, and vice versa, like butterflies in the stomach. We're all connected. Everything's connected, and they all link to the diet. I think Dr. Hilda Clark wrote a book on Death Begins in the Colon, and I follow Dr. Hilda Clark's work amazingly, because she's an amazing woman. She's no longer with us, but her legacy has gone on, and I think her work is outstanding. And I've got all of her work on the Elibra through the bioresonance. I can tap into.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us, Susie. You truly are an inspiration. And just remind listeners where they can find you.
SusieCornell.com, SUSIE Cornell.com. That's my website. I'm on Instagram, Susie Health Consultant. I've got a girl working for me at the moment on my social media, Jasmine, who's been brilliant. And so she updates everything for me. But yeah, ring me. You can always ring 01245 227 002. I'm here. If I'm not here, leave a message. And we do distance clients, so wherever you are in the world, we can help.
Fabulous.
I've got my new book's out on Amazon. It's called Totally Driven, and it's all about the work I do and my life. And it's available on Amazon, SusieCornell.com, and on Amazon, it's called Totally Driven. The book is called Totally Driven.
Fabulous. Susie Cornell, MBE, thank you very much.
It's been my pleasure.